Unity Software recently reported earnings, and the stock initially was up roughly 5%. We can see today was kind of an interesting day in the market, kind of pulling back a lot, and the stock is pretty much break even. So today, what I want to do is just kind of take a closer look at their earnings overview, take a closer look at some of the things I'm excited, discussion on some of the weaknesses, and also if I'm willing to buy the company at these levels right now. So let's take a closer look in today's episode. All right, so let's start off with an overview of the results. So we can see quarter two revenue was up 80% or 11% on the pro forma. If you are a long time Unity investor, you know this company recently acquired ironSource. I personally like looking at pro forma revenue, and I am excited to see that 11% year over year growth. Obviously, 80% total revenue is not organic. That has to do with the overall acquisition that I was just talking about. So overall, I'm excited about revenue, and we're starting to see that growth again. Another thing I'm super excited is we did see adjusted EBITDA grow. Margins are roughly 18.5%, and right now sitting at 99 million this quarter. And we can see the kind of improvements they have made throughout the quarters since this acquisition was kind of completed. So I'm super excited about that. They do estimate that in the second quarter of 2023, they grew revenue faster than the markets in which they compete, and they expect to continue to do so for the balance of the year. And this is one of the biggest things right now. A big portion of this company's total revenue comes from the advertisement spending, and they are saying that, hey, look, right now the ad market is pretty much stable. It's not really growing too much. We're growing faster than that, and that means we're gaining market share. So that's definitely a great reason to be bullish. The company did have a record quarter. They beat on top and bottom line guidance, on top and bottom line, and they did have a guidance increase. If you watched my previous earnings video, which was last quarter, I did mention that I believe Unity was going to be expectations. I do believe they're being very conservative at the moment because there's a lot of uncertainty in the market, and it does seem like that's the case. For the third quarter, they are guiding revenue of 540 to 550 million. That will be up on a quarter-over-quarter basis, and also will be up 7 to 9% on a pro forma basis. So we're back to being a growth company to some extent in this market. But remember, they are saying that they still assume the game ads market will be relatively flat throughout the balance of the year, other than normal seasonality. So we're still seeing kind of a stable wallets in the advertisement market. So for me, this tells me that if things are continuing the way they're going, I do believe the ad market is picking up a little bit. I'm kind of seeing it in my content creator side a little bit more. So I do believe they might be kind of conservative again here, and I do believe in the third quarter we are gonna get another beat. Now they did give us revenue for the full year. They did increase it as well by roughly 40 million. Not that big of a deal, but now it's sitting at roughly 2.1 to 2.2 billion dollars. That would be roughly a 5 to 9% year over year pro forma basis growth. So again, we're continuing to see more of a year over year growth. Obviously, if we look at non-organic growth, that's closer to 52 to 58%. But I do believe that pro forma growth is probably more important and more indicative of how the market is doing. They're also increasing their adjusted EBITDA. I do believe this was nice. Even though they only increased their revenue by roughly 40 million, they did adjust their EBITDA by roughly 70 million on the low end and roughly 40 million on the top end. So overall, we are seeing some improvements, and I do believe that's a great call for this overall company. Now, if we take a closer look, Unity right now with these current prices is sitting at a price to sales ratio of 8.76. I do believe if we look at forward price to sales ratio, and actually let's just look at it, PS ratio forward, this is the end of this fiscal year, is sitting more at 7.3. I personally don't believe Unity is crazy expensive at those price points, but there's especially as I do believe the ad market can expand dramatically once wallet spending continues to grow, and obviously their Create solutions with their Unity software, I believe also has numerous growth opportunity. But this is a nice ad company nowadays, so I do believe the ad market can definitely fuel them pretty quickly, and these price to sales ratios can contract pretty quickly depending on how the ad market goes. So overall, I wouldn't mind buying at these prices of right now $41. Not a big positions. This is where I would do maybe small dollar cost averaging. If the market cap was closer to maybe $10 billion, that's where I would be a little bit more comfortable on doing maybe bigger size purchasing and bigger size dollar cost averaging. Now, I do want to take a closer look at some questions, but before we go any further, if you guys are enjoying the episode, make sure to hit the thumbs up. I'm trying to hit 30,000 subs by the end of the year. This is also a new layout that I'm doing with my videos. Let me know if you guys enjoy it, more of the slides and really taking a closer look at some of the more in-depth portions of their earnings. So let me know in the comments below. If you want to learn more about the semiconductor market, I'm huge in the semiconductor space. Make sure to hit join membership. I do weekly videos where I talk about all the great companies in the semiconductor market, which I know from education and work experience. And I do have a free Substack for those that want to learn more. And Finally, I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for the subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode. So another cool thing that we heard from Unity earlier this quarter was about this partnership with Apple, right? And kind of the Unity Polyspatial, which was going to be used for Apple's kind of new vision computer. So I wanted to see if they talked a little bit about it in their earnings call. They mentioned that yes, that Unity Spatial, they've seen substantial interest from their developers in this platform, and this is looking to be Unity to be, and it just showcases to developers, right? I do believe this is more of a great PR for Unity because it kind of shows that Unity is the go-to platform for all the real-time 3D development. And again, for those that are not familiar, remember Apple is releasing their new Vision OS, their Vision product, Apple Vision Pro, and within there, they're gonna have a lot of apps. Unity is gonna be one of the biggest players out there to kind of help develop a lot of these AR and VR applications through the partnership that they have. So that's pretty good. But I do believe the market might be kind of overthinking this a little bit more. There was a Q&A session kind of asking, hey, how are these new products such as Vision OS and kind of all these AI solutions, how much revenue growth are they currently incorporating in the full year guide from these services? And right now, they did mention, the CFO did mention that right now, these markets like Vision OS will be huge, and they think they can make up a very significant difference on an ongoing basis. But most of them will see more of a ramp up in 2024 opposed to 2023. Honestly, as a long-term investor, I don't think that's a bad case, but there are certainly some investors that are hoping to see better results when they hear things like Apple and like AI, and they want those results right away. And I'm here to say that, hey, maybe that might not be the case in 2023. We might start to see that more in 2024. Now, another cool growth opportunity that I'm excited for Unity is Unity Cloud. And they do mention that they are in closed beta right now, and they expect to go general availability later this year. This is a platform that connects all of their services to their products, and they do believe this is going to lead to increase in consumption and rateable revenue in addition to subscription. They do mention the artist seats and usage, and all that goes with this Unity Cloud. So they expect that this is going to help them grow a net new revenue, net new SaaS revenue, and a net new consumption revenue. So I'm pretty excited about Unity Cloud. This is a company that continues to innovate. We saw them make huge pushes in the AI very early, especially in the ad market and in their content create market. I'm pretty excited to see how they continue to grow here with their Unity Cloud. Now, they did mention a little bit about digital twins. They do mention that digital twins acceleration now is really important. They're getting great traction in the market, and they're focusing on delivering repeatable solutions, high margin solutions that deliver ratable revenue streams and consumption revenue streams. So overall, we are seeing a great adoption of digital twins. And again, that continues to showcase that this is not just a gaming company. It's not just an advertisement company. It is a real-time 3D company with real-life effects like digital twins. Kind of pushing forward, I want to talk a little bit about their AI products. The two cool AI products is first Unity Muse. This is next generation AI. This is like a large language model that you can pretty much develop games with and kind of ask a lot, hey, can you develop a code that makes this character move like this? Can you develop this scene that kind of looks like this? So Unity Muse is pretty interesting. I really like it. Then they have Unity Senses, which is kind of it kind of powers this kind of cross-platform game engine, and enables AI models in Unity runtimes, which is pretty cool. So let's say you have a character and you want to have a non-playable character kind of have their own life where you don't even have to create it your own self and just kind of living behind AI models. Unity Senses allows this to happen. So I'm pretty excited about the AI market. I've done plenty of videos about that. Both of these are still in beta, but I do believe this is growth opportunity. Now, there was a question, and I do believe maybe some of you might be wondering, hey, can these new AI solutions add new users and new revenue? And the CEO John pretty much gave us there's three main groups here, and each group can be different. So they do believe they can get new revenue from the first two groups, and the first two groups are number one, your professional developers, right? Your professional developers are going to be using these AI tools, which are probably going to be on some consumption-based market. So those are going to see an increase in revenue because it will help them kind of with their productivity. The second group of people out there are those that are small enough and they're in large numbers, but small enough so they qualify for their personal edition or EDU users, and there's million of them. So these are pretty much the people that are not paying much for Unity, because Unity is a free software unless you're making X amount of money, unless you're a professional or stuff like that. To some extent, most of Unity is free. So what they're saying is with generative AI, just what we're saying with ChatGPT, you could have like a subscription base where you can help to kind of create certain things. So Unity is going to have like a way to create 3D digital assets, right? Where, for example, they gave an example, if you want to create some form of environment, it could take numerous months, but with generative AI, it can take nearly seconds, right? And for that, they have a great value proposition, right? So now you don't have to spend months kind of developing this, and now we can kind of create this subscription service for these kind of customers. So I do believe that will definitely be a nice revenue stream for Unity. The final one they do mention is the third group are the people that believe Unity is too complex, and they do mention that they have tons of people download the software, right? But eventually it becomes too complex that people leave. So now they believe that it's not going to be an inflection point, right? That's going to drive new users, but they believe over time they'll be able to capture a much larger portion of the people that hit the top funnel, the people that download, but eventually kind of quit because they don't really kind of like the platform because it's too hard for them. But using all these AI technologies will make them a lot easier to develop some form of real-time 3D content and overall help keep the retention of the user. So I think that's great news. And again, it kind of just showcases that none of this is going to be revenue right off the bat. It's going to be more of an ongoing basis. Now, I want to take a closer look at some of the weakness that the market is seeing in the Unity. First, their customers. Their customers are huge game developers. Most of them are not adding headcount, so there's no point in them adding licensed seats. So that's the first part. The second thing is obviously because of macroeconomics, some of their sales cycles are taking longer than expected because people are a little bit hesitant to spend money. So maybe something that might have closed within a quarter and that might take 2 quarters to close, as the company needs to really showcase that, hey, this is value that you need. Next, the China market continues to be soft overall. And finally, the ad industry has been relatively stable with not much seasonality so far. And one of the seasonalities they mention is usually at the end of the school season during the summer, they might start to see a pickup in ads, but normally that hasn't been the case right now. It kind of is more just coasting and being a stasis in the ad market at the moment. So what else do I have for you guys? I have two more slides, two more slides. So next, the company also mentions that they are cash flow positive. And one way that they are doing this is because unfortunately they had to do a bit of lean machine or making their company more efficient. They reduce obviously some hiring, they're reducing hierarchy, they're driving cloud efficiencies, and they are reducing their office footprint. Now they are cash flow positive, and they believe that this is going to be the case. They're going to continue to be on the positive side of cash generation. Not every quarter, right? There are going to be some quarters of fluctuations based on payment schedules, but nearly they do believe that now they are on the positive side of the cash flow market, which I think is super, super exciting about the overall company. And again, I do believe this acquisition, even though maybe Unity has become more of an ad company nowadays, it did kind of help help them with their financial numbers. The final thing I wanted to take a closer look at are just some random thoughts. They did mention that this quarter they partnered with one of the leading dating apps in the world, Tinder, to power their video ad monetization, expanding beyond games as part of their complex. So I think that's pretty cool. We're going to probably start to see more app advertisement from Unity, something that they're really good on. And the second thing they mentioned is thanks to their kind of investments in AI through the past, and through the combination of Unity and Iron Source, they are providing stronger return on investments to their advertisement companies. So I do believe those were two pretty cool points that investors should kind of be familiar with. So overall, I think Unity. Nothing crazy, right? It wasn't a revolutionary quarter. We're still in the weakness in the ad space. We're still obviously in the weakness in macroeconomics, which is affecting their create business and the gaming business as well. But the company is definitely making huge improvements. And for that reason, I'm going to continue to be a Unity software shareholder. Like I mentioned, market cap right now doesn't seem too scary. This would be more of a small dollar cost averaging for me. If it gets closer to the 10 billion, maybe if it drops back to the low 30s, that's more of a heavy buying opportunity for me. But I do believe maybe to some extent, unless the market really turns around, this is the bottom for the ad market. And I do believe within the upcoming quarters, we are going to see better improvements here. So I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Take care, have a good day, and see you next time.